Hi, I'm Nikki Butler and I'm now a skin and scar specialist and have been doing this for over 10 years. I actually think my first skin course was when I was still in corporate, so probably 12, 13 years ago. And I just wanted to share a little bit about my journey for how I got here because I know it seems like quite a leap when I tell people that I've gone from a legal corporate career, so my background is law, it's medical negligence, it's contracts management, to running a clinic that specialises in skin and scar treatments. But I'm going to take you back to the beginning in terms of where that kind of passion for wanting to make a difference with skin and scars really comes from. And some of you might have read the blog that I shared last year about my own scarring on my face. Now, I'd always been very open about the scarring on my leg, and I've shared treatments about that over the years. But my scarring on my forehead comes from an accident when I was 11 years old. I got hit by a car. I had lots of injuries, but I had a wound on my head that needed stitching, and actually had 2 scar sites and 22 stitches right across the middle of my forehead. So at 11 years old, I was extremely self-conscious about my appearance. And from that point on, I was desperate to try and cover it up. Everybody would look at it and I would always feel like I really didn't want to have to explain how that happened, and I just didn't want people staring at me. And if some of you can remember being a teenager, like, you were super self-conscious as it is. And so it was very difficult and very painful for me, and I became acutely aware at quite an early age of the judgment that I felt like I was getting, or the looks and the comments that would come from the fact I had facial scarring. And then I went to my doctors when I was 18 thinking I could have a skin graft, and literally begging to have a skin graft, anything that would help to cover up the scarring. And he looked at me and said, "It's not worth it, nothing's going to help." And I, to be honest, I don't remember if I made it out of the surgery without crying, but I was crushed. That thought that I'd got to 18, I thought I could finally do something, to be told that A, there was nothing, B, it wasn't worth it anyway. And I just became very good at wearing my hair in styles. I mean, I still wear a fringe. My hair in styles that covered up my scars. I became an expert at applying makeup to cover it up, and I just wouldn't put myself in situations where my scar was on display. And it wasn't just about the visual aspect, it was about the fact that that is very much linked to trauma. So for me, that accident was hugely traumatic. My mum actually found me at the top of the road in a pool of blood and had to walk across the road and discover whether her daughter was still alive. So it's a huge trauma trigger for me. So I very much understand the link between many of the scars that my clients have, and how it's not just about a visual appearance, it's about that internal emotion and trauma that goes alongside it. And it's why I'm really passionate about supporting my clients through that journey. So I didn't come into this world of skin and scar treatments at the age of 18. I did go off and have my legal career. I went to university. I studied law. I hated it, to be totally honest with you. I didn't enjoy it, but it was I had a degree, and that was the route I went down. I was always researching treatments for scars and products that I could use, and the best concealer and something that wouldn't rub off. And during that time, I also had multiple surgeries. So I've had 6 surgeries on my knee, I've had other surgeries on my body. So I just began gaining more and more scars. And I would try and brush it off with jokes and say, I was like a dot to dot puzzle that you could do and create a picture with all the scars. I think I've had 13 or 14 surgeries. So I really understand how difficult scarring can be, but also your skin in general. So as I was going through my corporate career, my skin really suffered. I wasn't sleeping, I was an insomniac, I was stressed, and again, worried about how I looked and being really conscious of what other people might think. And then I had a real shift in what I was doing. So I did my first skin course, I think 12, 13 years ago when I was still in corporate. And then over 10 years ago now, I actually left. And I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do with that. And I was a qualified nutritional therapist, so really understanding the importance of looking after your skin from the inside as well. But I didn't really find my niche. And then I had an amazing friend that inspired me, and she'd been through breast cancer. And she made a comment one day that was fairly innocent that said, "Have you thought about being a medical tattooist?" To which my response was, "A what?" And I had no idea what a medical tattooist was. And essentially it was tattooing nipples and areola on ladies that had been through breast cancer. And that was it for me. I spent about 6 to 12 months umming and ahhing and not deciding. And then I suddenly decided that that's what I was going to do. And very quickly into that journey, I discovered that there were scar treatments. And literally it's where my passion came from. I was delighted for myself because I could suddenly learn different techniques and learn to improve my scarring. And I went from being somebody that so I have really significant scars on my knee. I wouldn't wear shorts, I wouldn't wear a skirt or dresses. I would literally be in jeans in the middle of summer and telling everybody that I wasn't hot whilst I was sweating. So to be able to treat my scars to the point that I could wear shorts for the first time I cannot tell you, the feeling was incredible. And so that's where my love of scar work became, and I created this obsession with the power of skin rejuvenation. So the body is incredibly complex but very clever, that when we create minor controlled trauma, the body's natural response is this fresh, healthy collagen. It can break down scar tissue. It can trick our skin into thinking that we're younger than we are, because it's giving us that little prompt of boosting collagen and repairing and regenerating healthy cell turnover. And then I incorporate that with all that I learned from the nutrition side of it and nourishing the skin from within, and looking at things like lifestyle and stress and sleep and things like that, and started to see these amazing results, not just in myself but in my clients. And that's really where my clinical work has become so powerful, because whether it is my scar improvement programs or my skin transformation programs and the non-surgical facelift, it is all about getting your skin to work really well for you and boosting collagen and elastin and getting your skin to optimize what it does so well naturally. I love seeing the transformations from my clients. So I specialize in self-harm scars and burns. I treat all forms of scarring, but those are two areas that I absolutely love working with, because the transformation is incredible, not just visually, but from the point when I see my clients come through the door and they're often quite withdrawn and quite anxious about treatment, understandably. And as we're going through the treatment, I can see them growing, I can see the confidence growing, and I love the stories and the photos that I get from clients that are wearing clothes that they would never ever have considered, with burns on show that they have hidden for decades. And I love my self-harm clients who will have worn a t-shirt for the first time in the middle of summer, or taken a cardigan off at a barbecue because they just haven't thought about it. So that's really because I had those early experiences of being so self-conscious and really wishing that somebody could help me and help release some of that trauma and help to improve my skin and how I felt. I understand the power of how that can help my clients. So that's really why I do what I do. I love to be able to help you feel better and more confident in your own skin, and minimize the feelings that I had for decades, for 3 decades of trying to cover up and hide away. And so that is why I'm here now, because I now have this magic ability to be able to ease your pain in your lives and improve your skin and your confidence. So I hope that gives you some insight. And if you'd love to reach out, then you can visit the website, which is nikkibutler.co.uk, and follow either Your Skin or Your Scar path. And I look forward to hearing from you.